Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a milkman named Hanu. He was well known in the village, but not for the right reasons. While the villagers thought of him as hardworking and friendly, behind his wide smile and polite greetings lay a deep-rooted greed that drove him to cheat the very people who trusted him. Every morning, Panu would wake up early, gather milk from his cows, and head out to deliver it to the villagers. The milk was fresh, but Panu had a clever trick up his sleeve. Instead of delivering pure milk, he would add water to it to increase its quantity. This allowed him to sell more milk without needing to milk more cows, and thus he earned more money without doing any extra work. The villagers, unaware of his deceit, continued to pay him full price, assuming they were getting the best quality milk. As weeks turned into months, Panu's greed grew. He started adding more and more water to the milk, making it weaker and thinner. The villagers began to notice, but no one dared to confront him directly. After all, Panu was the only milkman in the village, and without him, they would have no milk at all. The elderly especially depended on him, and so they kept quiet, hoping the quality would improve. One day, an old wise man named Ram visited the village. He had traveled far and wide, and wherever he went, he listened carefully to the stories of the people. It didn't take long for him to hear the whispers about Pahanu's watered-down milk. Intrigued, Ram decided to pay Pahanu a visit. Disguising himself as a traveler in need of food and drink, Ram approached Pahanu's house one evening and politely asked for a glass of milk. Pahanu, seeing an opportunity to boast about his high-quality milk, invited the wise man inside and served him a large, frothy glass. Ram took a sip and immediately realized the milk had been watered down. He smiled but said nothing. Instead, he praised Panu for his generosity and asked if he could stay for the night. Panu, flattered by the praise and eager to make a good impression, agreed. That night, Ram lay awake, thinking of how to teach Panu a lesson. Early the next morning, as Panu prepared for his milk deliveries, Ram approached him and offered a bit of advice. "Panu," he said, "I have traveled many lands, and I have learned that honesty is the best way to earn a lasting reputation. The water you mix with your milk may fill your pockets now, but beware, it might also lead to your downfall." Panu, taken aback, laughed off the old man's warning. What does he know? Panu thought. No one has caught on to my trick, and I'm making more money than ever. Ram left the village that morning, but his words lingered in Panu's mind. Days passed, and the villagers' complaints grew louder. The milk had become so diluted that it was almost useless. One family, whose child had fallen ill, confronted Panu angrily, blaming his milk for their child's poor health. Fear began to creep into Panu's heart, but his greed still outweighed his guilt. One day, the sky grew dark with heavy clouds, and a fierce storm hit the village. It rained relentlessly for hours, causing the rivers and lakes to swell. The next morning, as Pahanu walked to the village to deliver his milk, he reached a bridge that connected his farm to the village. The water beneath the bridge had risen dangerously high, but Pahanu, eager to make his deliveries, thought little of it and proceeded. As he was halfway across the bridge, a powerful surge of water rushed over it, and in a split second Pahanu lost his footing. His milk cans, filled with his watered-down milk, slipped from his hands and plunged into the river below. The cans floated briefly, but the strong current soon swept them away. Panu was left standing on the bridge, soaked and empty-handed. Realizing what had just happened, Panu ran along the riverbank, hoping to recover his milk cans. To his dismay, they were gone, lost forever in the raging waters. Exhausted and defeated, he returned home, only to find the wise man Ram waiting at his doorstep. Ram looked at Pahanu with a knowing smile and said, "The water that you mixed with your milk has taken away what you valued most, your livelihood. Greed has a way of turning against those who embrace it." Panu, now humbled, realized the truth in Ram's words. His greed had not only cost him his reputation, but it had also destroyed the trust of the villagers. From that day on, Panu vowed to change his ways. He began delivering pure, fresh milk to the villagers, and over time, he earned back their trust. Though it took time, Panu learned that true wealth wasn't in the money he made, but in the honest relationships he built with the people around him. And so, the village once again had its milkman, but this time Panu was known for his honesty and integrity, a lesson he would never forget.